Thank you very much. And greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. This is C.P. McGregor speaking. Welcome to the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars, radio's greatest daytime dramatic program. Every day, a complete 30-minute drama from Hollywood. Every day, a famous Hollywood star. Today, our star is Anne Jeffries, and the title of our play, It Takes Two. Act one in just a moment. But first, a word from your announcer, Wendell Niles.
Here's exciting food news. It's at your grocer's now. The great new 1949 durum wheat harvest is in, and it's the finest ever produced. That means La Rosa brings you the most delicious macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles you ever tasted, because La Rosa's got the cream of the crop. You see, La Rosa is the world's largest user of fine durum wheat semolina, so it's natural that leading durum millers offer La Rosa first choice of Super Select #1 cream of the crop semolina, the finest ever produced. Prove it to yourself by serving La Rosa Grade A macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles. Tonight, make the La Rosa three-way quality test. See, taste, compare. See La Rosa's natural golden color, the natural sunshine of the world's finest semolina. Taste La Rosa's luscious flavor, richer, smoother, more delicious, with that just right, firm yet tender texture. Compare La Rosa with any other macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles you ever tasted. Once you try La Rosa, you'll never serve anything but La Rosa. Get the brand with a big red rose on every package. Get La Rosa, America's largest selling macaroni, spaghetti, egg noodles. And for real economy, remember it's a full pound. Now, once again, our producer.
And now, Act one of It Takes Two, starring Anne Jeffries. You might say that this story begins where others end. A little church, a happy crowd, rice, confetti, and oh yes, there's the usual tin cans, old shoes, and just married sign on the back of that swank convertible parked by the curb. But come on, I want you to meet that handsome fella at the wheel. He's the guy who just said...
I do. Yep, I'm the guy, Bob Bingston. Or rather, I should say I'm the groom. Because there's my bride, right over there. The gal all those fellas are kissing for the last time. I hope. Susan's her name. Susan Adams. Susan Bingston now. Oh, you'll love Susan. Oh, we've got to get going. Come on, darling. Papa's waiting. Here she comes. Isn't she cute? So sweet and understanding.
Goodbye, everybody.
Never an angry word.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Susan, dear.
So long, Bob.
You didn't have to blow the horn. I was coming.
Oh, but Susan, sweetheart,
Never mind. Goodbye, Alice. Goodbye. I'll try to write. Goodbye, David.
Goodbye, Susan.
This is it, darling.
Yes, our funny, lazy little road. It's just the same as always.
Yep, except that we're Mr. and Mrs. Robert Bingston now.
Mr. and Mrs. Robert Bingston. 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 Susan Bingston.
Sounds kind of nice, huh?
Not bad.
Not bad. We Bingstons have done all right with it.
Oh, of course. And we Bingstons will do all right with it, too.
Ah, that's better.
Bob.
Yeah?
Well, there's something we should promise each other right now.
Yeah?
That we'll remember, well, that most fights start over little things. Little, unimportant, thoughtless things.
Ah, I know. And any time I do anything you don't like, I want you to tell me about it. Right out. I'll do the same.
You won't fly off the handle?
Well, what for? Why, there'll probably be lots of little things. Like leaving the cap off the toothpaste. Hiding behind the morning paper. Dumping ashes on the rugs. That's something I'll have to watch. Ah, don't worry, honey. I know.
I really think you do. I probably don't even have to explain why I was annoyed with you right after the wedding.
The horn. I blew the horn.
Oh, well, that wasn't all of it, Bob. After all, I was in a hurry to get away, too, but... Well, I think you could have been a little warmer towards my relatives. They weren't going to bite you.
Your relatives? Honey, I didn't marry them.
I know, but some of them were meeting you for the first time.
Maybe even for the last, huh?
Bob!
Oh, I'm sorry. And I do understand. Now, let's skip it, shall we? Remember, we don't want to quarrel on our honeymoon.
All right, but, well, those are the sort of little things I meant. Just thought I'd point them out because, well, getting started right is half the battle.
Don't even say the word. We're married now. Married people don't fight.
My mother and father were married.
Never heard a word between them.
Then you haven't lived. Didn't you ever notice when you were over to dinner that there isn't a complete set of dishes in the house?
What? You mean your folks that threw dishes at each other?
They weren't playing baseball.
Oh, no, I don't believe it. Well, anyway, it won't happen to us. Well, I couldn't get mad at you no matter what you did.
Then we haven't a thing to worry about, darling, because like we agreed, it takes two to make a quarrel, and I'm certainly not the quarreling type.
Almost to the hotel. Just another mile.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, I can't wait to loosen this blamed collar. Choked me all through the ceremony. Almost couldn't get the magic words out.
Well, aren't you romantic? Do you mean to say that all through the ceremony you were just thinking about how tight your collar was?
Oh, but the whole outfit's tight. Your father's a full size smaller than I am.
A fine way to talk. And after Dad was nice enough to let you wear it, why, that's his best morning coat.
All right, so it's his best morning coat, and it's tight enough to make anybody mourn.
Funny man.
Well, I am in this monkey suit.
It isn't a monkey suit. The best man wore one, and he didn't complain.
The best man, the best man.
Oh, I think David looked very handsome.
Fine, so David looked very handsome. Why didn't you marry him?
Well, if you'd have had... Well, it would have been all right with that blonde bridesmaid.
What's wrong with Betty?
Dear Betty, who just had to kiss her itsy-bitsy Bobsy, once for the day, once for the future, and once for old time's sake. Say, what kind of old times did you two have together?
There you go, looking for trouble. It's a wonder we didn't start fighting at the altar. When I said I do, I'm surprised you didn't say, oh, no, you don't.
You can't talk to me like that, Mr. Bingston.
I am talking to you like that, Mrs. Bingston.
Then you can keep your silly old name. Turn this car around. I want to go home.
Good, that's just where you're going, and I'm darn glad to find out before... Oh, wait a minute. Susan, what's come over us? We're fighting.
You bet we are.
Oh, but we can't, darling. Remember, it takes two to make a quarrel.
Well, there's two of us.
Susan.
Will you turn this car around? I want to go home, I tell you.
But there's the hotel just ahead of us. We have to go there. It's our honeymoon. And, well, I love you, and we've got a reservation.
I don't give a darn about your old reservation, you Indian. Don't you dare turn in. I won't budge from the car.
What?
I mean it, Bob. You might as well drive right on by.
Okay, but this is ridiculous. Susan, you'd better make up your mind to it. We've got to go back to that hotel.
No.
There's going to be a storm.
Well, I'm in the mood for one.
But, Susan, we can't keep on driving. We're running low on gas. Now, look, if you don't let me turn around pretty soon, we may not even make it back to the hotel.
Well, there's plenty of gas stations.
Where? In the woods? Doggone it, Susan. You've got to listen to reason. Uh-oh. There goes the motor playing Camille.
What do you mean?
She's coughing her last.
Is that it?
That's it. And here we are. And it looks like there's going to be a cloudburst.
But what are you going to do?
I'm sure I don't know.
But surely under these circumstances, there's someplace we can get gas.
I don't know where. I haven't any in my fountain pen.
Well, you don't have to shout.
Who's shouting?
You are. This is all your fault.
My fault? Who didn't want to stop at the hotel?
Well, you could have planned things better. Why are we out of gas?
Because on my honeymoon, I've had other things on my mind.
David would have thought of filling the gas tank.
David, why didn't you marry David?
That's the second time you've asked me that. You don't love me.
Oh, cut it out. And don't start crying.
I'm not crying. You're not worth it.
Now, look what you've started. Oh, I hope you're satisfied. Oh, this is great. Huh? With a leaky top. Oh, well, come on. We can't stay here.
Where are we going?
There's a mailbox up ahead. Must be a house back off the road.
Can't we go back to the hotel?
Oh, now she asks me.
But it couldn't be very far.
Only a half mile or more in a driving rain. And those shoes you're wearing aren't exactly mud sleds.
That's the kindest thing you've said.
Don't mention it. Come on. It's a house, all right. Here, give me a hand. We'll run.
I don't need any help. You go ahead and... Oh, I've lost a heel.
Oh, counting me, that's 2 you've lost today. Now, do you want to walk through this mud in your stocking feet, or will you let me carry you? Don't answer that. You're going to be carried whether you like it or not.
Don't you touch me, Bob Bingston. Put me down, do you hear?
Quiet, I'll drop you in a mud puddle.
Oh, just wait till I get back to civilization. What I'll have to say to the judge.
Okay, Mrs. Bingston, here we are.
Oh, put me down. And don't call me Mrs. Bingston.
I'm sorry, darling, but that's something even you can't change till you see the judge. Hope somebody lives here.
Well, if it's a lawyer, he's got a client.
Temper.
Tommy.
Uh-oh, we're in luck.
Is that... Oh,
Don't be frightened. We're not selling anything.
young people.
I'm sorry to bother you, but you see, our car ran out of gas.
Young people and in trouble. Well, come in. Come in out of the rain, children. Oh, my dear, look at you. You're wet to the skin. Why didn't you put your coat around her, young man?
Well...
Never mind. Get inside now, both of you.
Thank you.
Over there by the fire.
Oh, I'm afraid we'll track mud all over your nice clean rug.
Oh, no matter. Do as I say. Over by the fire. Quick, the both of you. And don't worry about anything. Of course, you'll stay right here tonight.
Oh, no, that won't be necessary, Mrs.
Lawson. Mrs. Tom Lawson.
Thank you. I'm Susan Adams.
Susan Bingston, dear, remember? And I'm Bob Bingston.
Newlyweds. Well, I do declare. Oh, don't mind, my dear. It was easy for me not to remember my new name either.
Strange, I never have a bit of trouble.
Mrs. Lawson, what I started to say, you really won't have to put us up for the night. If you can just let us use the telephone.
Telephone. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't one.
What? Oh, but if you haven't a phone, there's no way we can get help until...
Until morning. Now, isn't that nice?
Nice.
That you're going to stay, I mean.
Well, we hate to impose, but perhaps if you could just put us up for the night.
But, young man, it's all settled and no trouble at all. And don't you worry, my dear. Your honeymoon trip isn't going to get off to a bad start. My room is very lovely, and you two shall have it. I'll fix up the spare room for myself.
Well, won't that be perfectly ducky, darling?
Oh, but we can't ask you to give up your room, Mrs. Lawson. I don't mind sleeping here on the couch, and, well, Bob can...
Now, child. You heard your master's voice. You must learn to agree with him. And he's quite right. It will be perfectly ducky.
The curtain falls on Act One of It Takes Two, starring Ann Jeffries. Our charming star and our distinguished cast of La Rosa radio players return shortly for Act Two of It Takes Two.
Wait a minute, CP. It only takes one.
One what, Wendell?
It only takes one package. That's 1 full pound of La Rosa macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles to make a wonderful big meal for the entire family. For instance, our tempting chicken macaroni casserole a La Rosa. And the recipe is so simple, ladies. All you need is La Rosa elbow macaroni. Those luscious golden elbows. Some leftover chicken, and a few other ingredients. Bake in a casserole dish until the top is a bubbly golden brown. Ah, there's flavor through and through. Satisfying, healthfully nutritious, economical, too. For the detailed recipe and 100 other wonderful La Rosa treats, consult your La Rosa cookbook. Or if you've not gotten yours yet, send for your big 64-page recipe book today. It's free. Write La Rosa, that's L-A, capital R-O-S-A, care of this station. Now prove La Rosa's superiority yourself. See, taste, compare. Make the La Rosa three-way quality test. 1, see La Rosa's natural golden color, the pure sunshine tone of the world's finest semolina. 2, taste that luscious La Rosa flavor, richer, smoother, more delicious. Made in the La Rosa manner by master macaroni makers. Made the unhurried old world way for that just right, firm yet tender texture. 3, compare La Rosa with any other macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles you ever tasted. Once you try La Rosa, you'll never serve anything but La Rosa. That's the reason it's America's largest selling brand. Now back to the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars and our famous producer, C.P. McGregor.
And now, the second act of our play, It Takes Two, starring Ann Jeffries. find our unhappy young couple, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Bingston, still out of gas and out of sorts. Taking refuge from the storm in the Maine woods cottage of Mrs. Tom Lawson. Mrs. Lawson, a little Dresden doll sort of old lady, is doing her best to assure the couple that their wedding trip isn't going to be spoiled. As they finish dinner, neither Bob nor Susan has had the heart to tell her that not only the trip, but their marriage is already spoiled, and that they are planning divorce.
There now, children. Doesn't that make you feel better?
Oh, the dinner was very lovely, Mrs. Lawson. Yeah, I'd sure like to know how to make that salad.
Of course you would. You'll want to know how to make everything for your young man. I have lots of recipes, my dear.
Oh, I'm afraid she'd never have the patience to fix a meal like that.
Yeah, what are you saying? You're starting out all wrong, son. All wrong indeed. You must eat everything she cooks for you. Yes, and like it, too. Before long, you'll find yourself really liking it. Don't you mind him, dear?
I don't. Can I help with the dishes?
Dishes? On your honeymoon? I should say not.
Oh, but I'd rather help Mrs. Lawson, really.
I think she would, too.
Oh, nonsense. I'm only going to clear them off anyway. I want to go upstairs and fix your room. You two go on in the other room by the fire where you can cuddle. That's where I'd be.
But
Not another word.
Come on, darling. Mustn't argue with people when they're so nice to you. You mind if I smoke, Mrs. Lawson?
Not at all. Turn on the radio, young man. Music always helps.
oh, turn it off.
But I love music. When I was a boy, I was with the Barber of Seville.
What did you do? Bring him the hot towels?
Okay. But take it easy. You want to upset the old lady?
Well, what about the young lady? Me? Anyway, Mrs. Lawson will have to find out sooner or later.
You're not going to tell her.
Certainly I'm going to tell her. She's fixing up her room for us.
Is that bad?
Well, I'm not letting her give up a room when I intend spending the night right here on this couch.
Suit yourself.
Don't worry. I plan to suit myself for the rest of my life. I'm just glad that I found out in time.
I know that I'm like all the rest.
Worse.
You wouldn't take any prizes for sweetness and charm.
Oh, no? I won a loving cup once.
That was because you were in a bathing suit, not in a home. You wouldn't know how to fit into anything like this cottage and all that it stands for.
Children. Oh, children, what in the world? Surely you're not.
Fighting? Yes, Mrs. Lawson, we are.
But I don't understand. I thought you were so much in love. Why, you were only just married.
We've been bouncing around on the ropes ever since the knot was tied.
No. Oh, dear, no. Oh, it's this wicked storm, that's all. And the trouble you had with the car. I'm sure in the morning everything will seem different.
Oh, no, Mrs. Lawson, it won't. Bob and I weren't meant for each other, I'm afraid.
She's right, Mrs. Lawson. But don't let it upset you. This sort of thing happens every day. Maybe it doesn't happen as quickly to most people,
Now,
but...
don't talk that way, young man. Now, don't say another word.
Oh, but what he's saying is true.
All right, child, all right. Only don't say it again, please.
Mrs. Lawson, what is it?
Do you feel faint?
No, I'm perfectly well, thank you, only... Let's all sit down a moment, shall we? I want to tell you both a little story. Please, children. You don't mind my calling you children, do you? Because that's the way you're acting. I know. I acted that way myself once.
Well, I'm afraid I don't
No,
understand.
of course you don't. Because you can't see yourself, my dear. You can't see what you're doing to this young man.
There you are.
You be still. I'd blame you even more, except that men aren't supposed to be as understanding. They haven't the good sense.
And there you are.
Mrs. Lawson, I appreciate everything you've done for us, but if this is going to be a lecture,
Now, there isn't going to be any lecture. I only want the two of you to sit here by the fire for a while to listen to a story.
Well,
Go ahead, Mrs. Lawson. Once upon a time...
There was a boy about your age, son, and a girl about Susan's. Yes, just about. The boy and the girl were very much in love. At least it seemed like love, because they were happiest when they were together. Wonderfully, gloriously happy. And so they decided to get married.
And that killed it.
if you're not interested, you might at least be polite.
Sorry?
Well, it's all right. I have plenty of time. That's all I do have. Oh, but the young couple, their wedding was very gay, very exciting, and they started out on their honeymoon. Quite like you two started out. Only, of course, they had a shiny new horse and buggy instead of an automobile.
They were better off.
Perhaps. Because they didn't go so swiftly. Anyway, theirs seemed to be the perfect match. Everyone thought so. And the whole world was music to them. Until the girl wanted to make it too perfect. Yes, people can live too perfectly. For without little flares of temper and tiny misunderstandings, they don't really get to know one another.
You mean people should fight?
If it's the only way to settle something, my dear, yes. That's exactly what I do mean. Providing, of course, that you're always willing to admit when you're wrong.
Aha, there's the rub.
Yes, young man, there's the rub. And the girl I'm telling you about, she was not only unwilling to admit when she was wrong, but she was too selfish to know the good that can come from healthy argument. And one day, during one of their little lover squabbles, she told him she never wanted to see him again.
He didn't go away.
The very next morning. And he never came back.
You mean she never heard from him again? Didn't he write?
He wrote 2 letters, apologizing and asking if she wanted to see him again. For many weeks, she was too stubborn to answer. Then, when she did get around to writing, asking him to come home, her letter was returned, unopened. He had gone away. Gone, thinking that she didn't want him back. But she did, so very much. And she knows now that his letters, his beautiful letters, were the last invitation she would ever receive to that wonderful life that they might have known together. Oh, Tom. Tom, can you ever forgive me? I was so foolish. So foolish.
Mrs. Lawson, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm very sorry. Oh, Bob. Bob.
It's all right, darling. Everything's all right.
Yes. Yes, I think so, too.
Oh, I know it's been a long time, Mrs. Lawson. Years, I guess, but, well, maybe we can find him.
No, dear, thank you. But you see, there was an accident several years later. A shipwreck. Tom's name was listed among those who were lost. But he wasn't lost. Not really. Because he's here, in my memory. He's in this room. Everywhere. Always.
Of course he is. And he was standing beside you tonight when you told your story. He helped you, Mrs. Lawson. He helped you to make 2 blind, stupid children grow up.
That's right. It wasn't just you, Mrs. Lawson. It was the 2 of you, together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now, if you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a while. You 2 run on upstairs, and don't think about me or this storm that's going on in the world. Just think of one another, because this is your wedding night, and that's as it should be.
Good night.
Good night, son.
Good night, Mrs. Lawson, and God bless you.
Let me in. It's Tom, Lila. I'm back. Let me in.
Tom, you're back.
Huh? Of course I'm back.
Quiet.
Say, what's going on around here? Can't a man go down to the corner store for an evening without...
Will you be quiet?
Lila, what?
I'm sorry, dear, but they mustn't hear you. You're supposed to have drowned at sea.
What?
You heard me, and you should be proud. We've just saved a fine young couple's marriage from going on the rocks.
Lila drowned at sea. Why, I never felt better in all my...
Oh, another cold. Tom Lawson, I swear you're more trouble than a child. Every time I let you go out in the rain...
Child? Who's a child?
Don't
Nabbit?
shout, don't shout.
Who's shouting?
You are, and stop it this minute, do you hear?
Why, I do no such thing. Oh, Lila, we're fighting. What for?
Because we love each other, dear. That's what for. It takes a heap of living to find it out, but I'm sure that's the reason, dear. Because we love each other.
Ain't it so? Come here, dear.
And so the curtain falls in the final act of our play, It Takes Two, starring Anne Jeffries, who will return to our microphone in just a moment.
See, taste, compare. Prove to yourself the superiority of La Rosa macaroni spaghetti egg noodles. Tonight, make the three-way La Rosa quality test. 1, see La Rosa's natural golden color, the pure sunshine color of the world's finest semolina, the cream of this year's great durum wheat harvest. 2, taste that luscious La Rosa flavor, richer, smoother, more delicious. Taste that just right, firm yet tender texture. 3, compare La Rosa with any other macaroni, spaghetti, or egg noodles you ever tasted. Once you try La Rosa, you'll never serve anything but La Rosa. Serve it often. Enjoy real economy. It's the greatest food value on your grocer's shelf. Enjoy a La Rosa treat tonight. Get the brand with a big red rose on every package. Get La Rosa, America's largest selling macaroni, spaghetti, egg noodles. And for real economy, remember it's a full pound. And now once again, our producer.
Anne, we're running a little late, but I do want to congratulate you on a delightful performance.
Thank you, C.P. You're very kind. And I hope your nice audience liked the show.
With you as the star, how could we miss? But Anne, be sure to listen tomorrow when we bring you America's foremost writer of the Purple Sage, a star known to every person in the country and an idol of American boys and girls everywhere, Roy Rogers. P.S. Roy will star in a half-hour action-packed romance titled Go West, Young Man. Be sure to join us tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, won't you? Until then, thanks for listening, and cheerio from Hollywood.